This is the 7th part of my 1.17 hardcore Minecraft world. We have two goals for this episode. The first one is to actually beat the game, and the second one is to get an elytra so that we can fly around our world. Doing these things is probably the most likely way we're gonna die in this world, so if you want to see if we can make it out alive, then make sure you watch to the end. Before we do anything, I need to make sure that my tools don't break while we're in a fight, so I place a lectern down by a villager, check the enchantment. If it's not mending, then I just break the lectern and try again. Eventually I get a mending trade.
Nice.
So I bring him over to the villager trading hall, and I replace one of the useless villagers with the mending villager. I also shoved the useless villager into another one of the slots, because I want him to feel bad about being the only one without a job.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
My spoon is almost broken, so I make a diamond one, enchant it, and I get Unbreaking 3 Efficiency 4. And then I put mending on my fortune pickaxe, which makes it almost the best pickaxe in the game. I just need netherite. And I also put mending on my boots. I need to head to the nether to get ender pearls and blaze rods, so I make a hay bale so I can do some unnecessary parkour, and then I head to the nether. As I'm sure most of you know, I need to collect gold to trade with the piglins so I can try to get ender pearls. And thus begins the very tedious process of running around collecting gold. I saw a cliff, so naturally decided to speed bridge across it, and I fell. But not to worry, because I actually made a hay bale. So all I had to do was place the hay bale underneath me before I landed, and I would take very little fall damage. Oh, yeah, cut that out. I don't know what happened with the video there, but I actually speed bridged across the cliff my very first try without ever falling. I collected more gold, converted the gold nuggets into gold ingots, and traded with the piglins, but I didn't get any ender pearls.
I've been scammed. I've been absolutely scammed out of 15 big ones.
I took a quick break to play some baseball. And then I continued trading with the piglins.
You better stop!
I was digging a permanent home for this guy, and he rewards me with an ender pearl trade. It was only 2, but it was definitely a start. Not long after that, I got another ender pearl trade, which brought my total ender pearl count up to 8. Then I fell in this hole. I managed to get another ender pearl trade, and finally had enough ender pearls to get to the end. I do some more pointless speed bridging, and I actually make it all the way to the end. Just pretend I didn't fall there. So yeah, I made it all the way to the end. Now that I had all the ender pearls that I needed, it was time to start looking for another fortress so that I could get blaze rods. I had a lot of trouble actually finding another fortress. I ended up just finding a lot of other stuff, including this bastion. I bowed down the brutes, and then I did a little bit more speed bridging, and then I robbed them. Yeah, so basically I broke into their house, I killed them, and then I robbed them. I got a Soul Speed 2 book, which I'll definitely put on my boots, but other than that, I didn't really get anything of value. And I know I have diamond armor, so it's kind of hard for me to die in a fight, but it's still really dangerous dealing with these hoglins because they can pretty much just throw you around. Then I used some speedrunner tactics to get a bunch of the piglins into a little hole to trade with them more. And from that, I ended up getting 4 more ender pearls. Like I mentioned before, even though I had diamond armor on, the hoglins are really dangerous.
Oh my god! Oh jeez, oh my god!
So I took my frustrations out on his kids. I got pretty much everything that was good in the bastion, so then I just head out and continue to look for the nether fortress so that I could get blaze rods. And just like always, I made sure to do a lot of completely pointless parkour. After a very long time in the nether, I finally found what I was looking for. Unfortunately for me, the fortress was in a soul sand valley, which meant on top of the blazes that I needed to fight, there would also be a ton of wither skeletons and regular skeletons to fight with. So I knew that with my diamond armor, it was probably still going to be pretty difficult. And it definitely was difficult. Yeah, I mean, you know, look at that. That's a lot of mobs. Luckily for me, I had a knockback sword, so I was able to just toss a bunch of the wither skeletons off the edge. It's kind of overpowered, but it's in my favor, so I'm not going to complain about it. I wanted to get 8 blaze rods before I left, and right now I was only up to 5. So I just continued killing the blazes. One of the blaze rods fell down here, and I guess I forgot I had hay bales, so I just fell down there. Yeah, I don't know. But finally I picked up the last blaze rod I needed and head back to the portal. Again, doing even more completely pointless parkour. I found a blue nether biome, so I had been in all the nether biomes. Yeah, it took a long time. I used my coordinates to mine my way back to the nether fortress, and then did just a little bit more speed bridging. I went back to the overworld and heard more thunder, which sort of accidentally sets up the tone for the fight. That wasn't even scripted or planned or anything. It just started thunderstorming at the perfect time. Yeah, I said hello to Subpig for what might just be the very last time because I was about to head off to the end to fight the Ender Dragon. But before I did that, I put the Soul Sand 2 book on my diamond boots because, well, why not? And then I stood on top of the entrance of the base and I threw the Eye of Ender, telling me that the stronghold was in that direction.
Wow.
For the next 10 minutes or so, I spent my time doing pointless parkour and then throwing the Eye of Ender to make sure I was still going in the right direction. I found out that the combination of a dolphin and Depth Strider 3 boots makes you go absurdly fast underwater. Like, insanely fast.
I'm gonna get extra dirt in case you need to build up and help Sap now.
Oh my gosh. My dream!
Wait, what?
What?
Oh my gosh! What?
He's on the ground! He's on the ground! He's literally on the ground!
Finally, I found the stronghold, so I built a pillar for future reference and then jumped in the stronghold.
Get the f out of my room! I'm playing Minecraft!
I found a library with some really awesome loot in it. As I went deeper into the stronghold, I found out that some parts of it were flooded by underwater caves. So that was really annoying to deal with, but we'll just move past it. After dealing with the underwater cave, I found the portal. So I cleared out some of the junk in my inventory and then filled in the end portal.
Nice.
I checked my inventory one more time to make sure I had everything I needed, because as soon as I went through that portal, there was no way for me to get back without beating the game. And after a very long time playing this world, I jumped into the portal. I spawned in a box underground, so I just dug my way up. And with my bow, I started shooting at the healing crystals.
Boom, bam, bop, bada bop, boom, pow.
I got on top of one of the pillars so that I could shoot out some of the healing crystals easier, and I finally got the last healing crystal.
Nice shot!
I did a little bit more speed bridging, but this time did it perfectly. I didn't mess up a single time. Ignore that cut. Then I pearled down to the dragon and started swinging. This fight really wasn't hard at all, so I was kind of just messing around waiting for the dragon to perch again. The next few minutes of the fight were pretty much just me shooting my bow at the dragon, fighting some endermen, and then pearling to the dragon to do some more damage. To be honest, it was a really easy fight. I wanted to style on the dragon, so when his health was low, I just used my fist and punched him to death. And that was it. I had officially beaten hardcore Minecraft. Of course though, I still have very big plans for the world, and fighting the ender dragon was sort of like a tedious side quest I had to do in order to progress. I collected all the XP the dragon dropped, and found myself at level 66. I then picked up the dragon egg with a torch, and then hopped into the portal, and I spawned in the world spawn point. So that was annoying, but not to worry because by now I knew exactly where to go. And eventually got back to the base. The reason I wanted to beat the Ender Dragon now was actually so that I can get an elytra. So when I got to the base, I started preparing for my journey to find an elytra. First though, I wanted to use my 66 levels to see if I can get any better enchantments. I enchanted a lot of different armor pieces in books, and then immediately unenchanted it because they were terrible enchantments. I did this over and over again until finally I had marginally better armor and was now below level 30. I crafted a bunch of rockets so that when I get the elytra I could actually fly around. Then I went over to the villager trading hall because I was looking for a very specific enchantment. I used the same trick I used at the start of the episode to get a looting 3 trade. Eventually I got the trade, so I bought the book and put it on my sword. I also put mending on my sword, which is probably something I should have done a long time ago, but whatever. I then saw an enderman, and the enderman dropped 4 ender pearls, which is insane. Yeah, looting 3 is pretty good. Then I head off back to the end so I could try to find an elytra.
Oh my god!
I had my flint and steel in my water bucket hotbar, and then I misgauged how far this pond is. A bit of a yikes play, but you know, what can you do? When I got to the stronghold, I built the nether portal in the end portal room, and I moved the nether portal that spawned to the same Y level as my home base nether portal, and I dug towards the nether portal connected to my base. It didn't take long at all before I was at my home base nether portal. So now I had a way to go from my base to the end by traveling only a couple hundred blocks in the nether.
Nice.
Then I head into the end so that I could try to find an elytra. I make myself a scuffed enderman farm so that I could get some pearls to hopefully save myself if I'm falling. And I found a lone piece of end stone just kind of floating there.
Yeah, I mean, he's sitting there.
Okay.
I built a pathway up to the teleporter, which is what I'm gonna have to use to travel to a different area of the end. I was directly over top of the void while building this. Of course I fell, but I was prepared with the ender pearl.
Wow.
I finished building the platform and then I pearled into the teleporter. And I spawned on the very edge of the void. Yeah, thanks Notch. I cranked up my render distance and I saw an end city which has a chance of spawning an elytra. So of course the next thing I do is try to make my way over to it. But unfortunately when I looked around I only saw a few floating islands. So I had a lot of nervous slow bridging over the void that I needed to do. And this is pretty much the only time where I'm refusing to speed bridge. I may have gotten arthritis in my pinky holding the shift key down, but it was worth it because I was finally at the end city. These mobs are the reason why I wanted to get looting on my sword. 2 of their shulker shells allow you to make a shulker box, which basically gives you a full inventory in just 1 slot of your inventory. So naturally, I wanted to get as many as I could. The problem with shulkers though is that if they hit you with these spheres, then you start to float. And if you continue to get hit by them, then you can float pretty high up. But since I had a water bucket, I really wasn't too worried about it. One of the best things about the end city is the loot that it has, like this chest. Oh, okay. I found another chest and yeah, that's a lot more like the loot I'm used to. There was a floating ship in the end city which meant there was an elytra. I didn't want to bridge my way over to it, so I decided to ender pearl.
You what?
And this was a really stupid thing to do. As you can see, I landed on the very edge of the void. So had I aimed my pearl like a centimeter lower, I probably would have hit the side of the ship and died. Anyway, I bridged over and I got the dragon head that was attached to the ship. Then I went inside the ship and saw more diamonds and diamond armor, all of which I conveniently stored in the shulker box. And then finally, I got the elytra. Now I was able to fly. So naturally, I jump into the void and then start flying.
Wow.
I was officially done with the end city, so I started flying back to the main end island. And as you can see, I have literally no frame of reference other than the coordinates I have at the top of my screen. If my Y coordinate got too low, then I would just die. So this was a very stressful thing to do, but I did it anyway, and soon enough got back to the main end island. I jumped into the portal and I spawned right beside Subpig. and I flew up into the sky to try to get a bird's eye view of my base. I still think the base looks pretty cool, but now that I have access to the end, I'll be able to make a ton more progress on my base. Also, starting in this one, I'm going to be randomly shouting out one person that follows me on Twitter at the end of every episode, and I'll also be showcasing one random piece of fan art. So if you want a chance of getting in the video, then follow me on Twitter, and if you want a chance of your fan art getting in the video, then at me on Twitter with your fan art or submit it through the Discord server. Both links are going to be in the description. For this week, the Twitter shoutout goes to Kaylee, and thank you to Nikki for drawing this awesome fan art. Also, join the Discord, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Okay, you've heard it all before, but just do it. It really helps. Okay, bye.